Well, today we have with us Tony Remington, who's the CEO of Gravity Diagnostics. Gravity has been probably in every person's conversation as we're dealing with the COVID-19 and the pandemic in our country. And so, Gravity, we've got the man here who's going to share with us a little bit about this great story of health and innovation and how this past few weeks have gone. So, thanks, Tony, for coming and sharing some of this your great story with the community. So I'll let you just share with us what presently is the main effort of what Gravity is doing for the community.
Sure. Thank you for having me. And I just always like to remind everyone that, we're a piece to the puzzle here. We're part of the solution. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, other companies that have helped us out, other entities, government officials, et cetera. So I'm humbled to be in this role we're in. Feels great to be a part of the solution and be able to do something about the problem. So that is, I feel like the parents homeschooling their kids have a different set of challenges than we have. So everyone's playing a role right now in this whole thing. We're most focused right now on partnering with the state of Kentucky to work with over 30 hospitals and provide rapid turnaround time for them for those samples where they need results quickly. And that's mostly your first responders that are symptomatic and your, patients that are most sick in the inpatient, outpatient setting. Our goal is to get to 2,000 samples a day with that partnership. And then we also start a partnership with Kroger, also sponsored by the state the partnerships with the state, where we'll do hopefully an additional 1,000 samples a day through the drive-throughs in Kentucky.
And so the process as this local lab, essentially, right? So you're taking these samples that have been taken from those who are ill,
Yep.
And you've got to then handle the chemical testing, essentially,
Yep.
right? With your technology, is it digital? Is it computers? Is it chemicals? And you test it, and then you basically are the word that says, does someone have COVID-19 or do they not? Right?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly how it works. It's quick, it's easy. So we work with UPS and FedEx, but I have to say UPS has been great at getting us samples by 6:30 a.m. every morning. So the drive-through that's happening today, I think, is over in Independence, which is pretty close by. I'm going to drive by there after this. Those samples will probably get shipped to Louisville and then sent to me via courier tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. And then my team will, we sort those, we do the data entry, and then there's a bunch of instruments that extract the DNA out of the sample. I'm not a scientist, so I try to keep it simple. And then the sample goes on an instrument, and that instrument runs the sample and gives us a negative or positive. It gives us the information, and then we have two scientists look at each sample's result, whether it's negative or positive. And then that result is reported back to, if it's a hospital, we have a HIPAA-compliant portal. So the hospital can log in and get the result and the report that way, or it could be a HIPAA compliance autofax. And so that's really the process. So it's pretty straightforward.
Well, and the timing of this, the turnaround that you've been able to develop, what's the special sauce that makes this work so fast for you compared to the other testing models that were done before?
Excellent question. I do feel for the last 4 years, we've had this kind of, change healthcare, do it differently, don't accept no, don't be a Me Too company. So we kind of built our foundation around compliance and working with academics and government to make an impact. So I think we had this foundation there ahead of time. We also were doing upper respiratory testing, which is other pathogens, viral, fungal, bacterial testing around like flu testing. So we had some science and wherewithal before this all happened. But in the end, I give my people credit. We have a great PhD, JP Canner, and a great group of scientists. And they were the ones to create the method and the validation to be able to test for this. And then one other thing I'll share is that we have Scott Liccardi came from AssureRx, which is part of Myriad now, but he had a lot of experience with automation and some things they were doing on the genetic side. So we were able to implement some of that with our methods.
And so how many people do you have presently? And is this a 24-hour operation, or what does that look like?
We've hired, I think we're up to about 17 new employees in the last month. So I think in this building now we have about 50 people. We probably were around 30, 33 before this happened. We went to 2 shifts, Monday through Friday. So we have the team come in at 6:30 and then another group comes in at 11. So we get kind of like a 6:30 to 8 p.m. coverage that allows us to do more runs throughout the day than if we just did the 8 to 5. And then on Saturday, we're staffing really the same, about 6:30 to 7 at night. Less people on Saturday, but we're open for business or, for processing samples the same amount of time. And so that's been, an interesting challenge. I do want to note a lot of those employees are on the data entry side. So the people handling the DNA and extracting it and all that, we're very meticulous about who's qualified to do that and all that.
Well, and I guess the question some of us would have is that this because of the pandemic, the number of tests that have just been, obviously we all want to see more testing in different areas and things of that nature, but the idea that there's so much more testing going on today, right, than even 6 months ago, is that the case? Is this just something that you've had to ramp up and be able to be agile enough to ramp it up so fast? Why is it something special like a smaller entrepreneurial company like yours can do where it didn't already exist?
The first thing is that, Quest and LabCorp, your multi-billion-dollar national labs. I mean, we're a national lab, but we're small, we're private. They're doing an amazing job of doing, 40,000 samples a day. The challenge they have is they're committed to several different initiatives that are really worthwhile, right? But they're running into, they tell the federal government, the state government, New York City, California, whatever, and then they get 60,000 samples instead of 40,000, right? So that, in their defense, it's hard to have that rapid turnaround time when you're dealing with so many different entities. So we've been really focused on who we're going to work with. And we've said, whoever, if I'm going to work with a hospital and they need 50 samples a day, I'm not going to allocate that capacity to anyone else. So if that hospital only sends me 3, then I only do 3, right? So we've been able to be really focused on what do you need a day, and we lock that in. So that's one thing. The second thing is the supply chain. We were really aggressive up front with getting ample supplies. So even your good private small lab like Gravity that wants to do more, they're running into major problems of getting the swabs, getting the reagents, getting the instrumentation. So really, if I give us any credit, we're aggressive and we got ahead of it and we ordered the gowns and ordered the gloves and got the swabs. We've actually bought 4 more instruments. So we've spent about $750,000 in instrumentation. So we just kind of ran for it and said, instead of saying, oh, we have a capacity issue, we blew out a wall. We don't have the instruments, we bought more. We need more expertise, we hired more people. A lot of labs like us would stay in their lane, right? They would say like, what's best for us, not what's best for the community. And we just felt like someone had to do this. And, we feel fortunate today that it's kind of worked out where I think it's been good for our company and the community and the people of Kentucky and Ohio. But at the time, it was really about, we got to do something. We can't just sit here and watch this happen. So, some of this I think is luck, but those are really the main reasons.
Well, we sure are grateful that you have both the luck and the energy and the energy to just knock through those walls and get things done. So,
thank you so much.
I want to say thank you for what you all are doing and hopefully the continued success of Gravity. And we'll be back to check with you in a week or two to see, hopefully we get even further through this pandemic and people stay healthy.
Thank you very much.